I think you're better Sakuya than me.
I would hope so. I mean, I feel like you have more reps because you by osmosis, you play against Terry, so you from the other side of the table you have played Sakuyamon. But yeah,
I've played against your Sakuyamon like at work. Well, when we used to work, and that shit was disgusting.
Yeah, I'm low-key nice. It's just that's why I like watching Terry play.
I swear, that's the deck that you don't break. Maybe that's why you break with like Ragna or like Armor, because you don't break with Sakuya.
I'm always on that thing.
Like, you legit, like, I would be like, fuck, man, my plugin's all right. You're just like, yeah, I have like 20 cards in hand.
Alright, so there's a comedy about good Gallant support. Like, the issue with Gallant, apart from the whole, like, fair like, too fair comment, is that, unfortunately, Tom, I don't know if you're familiar with Red Eyes in Yu-Gi-Oh!, but Gallantmon is just the Red Eyes of...
That is the most hurtful thing.
That is so true.
Terry, we've been friends for almost half a decade, and that is the most hurtful thing you've ever said to me.
I'm sorry, but the truth...
Bro is sitting on the other side of the table from me at Thanksgiving this year.
They just can't... It's
not
like,
the cards are all really like there are not that many bad like if Gallantmon cards were actually terrible, they wouldn't be being kidnapped by other decks.
But that's the thing.
Problem
I don't think they're terrible. I just think the problem is you don't have they always split off into like different directions. So therefore, it's like creating a coherent game plan is kind of like harder.
Yeah, I get what you mean. We don't have to go into Gallantmon for the 19th time, but it's like
I have some goo. I can give you like a. You're not gonna like this. I can give you a Gallantmon deck that plays a bird package.
Yeah, no, I've seen the same thing. I'm not a believer.
Phoenixmon kind of cracked.
Yeah, no, Phoenixmon's cool. I like warping a return though. Anyway, there's layers to it. I also think like if the cards were bad, part of what I said is like they wouldn't be being used.
That's the thing. Red Eyes cards aren't bad. Like Dragoon is crazy.
Yeah, and then in the format where for once Dragoon wasn't being gatekept by something else, that's pretty crazy, right? Yeah. The Gallantmon is like some of those Gallantmon cards are wicked toxic. Like I'll be the first to. I mean, I die on my sword for this every time. It's like Crimson Mode Ace is a crazy powerful card. Secret Gallantmon is bananas. That's why Setcon steals it. There's tons of value. The new BT17 Toccato is one of the craziest tamers ever printed. There's so much good stuff in that deck, but like the reason it doesn't win everything is because like why would I voluntarily do that to myself against Imperial? And it's like at a certain point it's like always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but it's like there's some disparity in some color identity around the Digimon TCG. And
Imperial is the blue eyes.
I think Imperial is the I don't know, maybe like the just generically all of the synchro era. It's like it's as good as Black Rose and Stardust and
Borosoul. Well, I think the thing is Imperial gets new tools, but the game plan never changes. It sticks to the game plan. Look, it's
Gallant has like two plans, right? It's delete things on the board and mill. Those are the two things.
I don't know if I would consider mill. I feel like mill. They were like, shit, bro. How do we get?
They tied mill to Megidramon.
They were like, shit, bro. How do we get the Gallantmon player to like progress the game?
Mill is if you ask people that like want to like continuously take the deck to events, like mill is some of the strongest stuff that it does. So there are layers to it, like being just the tools that the deck gets.
Personally, I think they should commit to mill.
Yeah, agreed. I think that part of the strength of Gallantmon is that if it had more like access to punishment.
Like there's nothing that's like that gives you like sword and shield vibes from milling. It's a shovel at that point.
Well, it's a virus, right?
So the thing is like milling in my mind, going to the comment, what is toxic? I'm like milling is simultaneously when you mill yourself. All right, that's fine. Do what you want. When you mill my deck, right? No. This is my property. Stop. That is toxic. I need my pieces. I need my things. I'm not playing through tier format again in a different game. I'm not doing it.
My thing with mill is just that, like, you win, like, randomly. There's nothing skillful that's just like, that was, like, I won because of a decision that I make.
Yeah.
You go, I won because I milled, like, their tech card. And then, like, what's the opponent supposed to do? Play more of the tech card? No, you're passively winning.
The thing is that
not interesting.
Gallantmon mills both ways. I think is the thing that's really important. Like generic mill, where you just go, okay, your cards to the trash.
Mill yourself, bro. But that's Beelzebub.
Yeah, but like Gallant is cool because you both mill things, and only one of you benefits from it. I think that's really cool. Like he's forcing you into an endurance game.
You've played Gallantmon against Beelzebub.
Okay, that's whatever.
Let me do it. It's cool whenever someone I like or I'm doing it. It's toxic when anyone else is doing it. If my opponent does it, it's not fair. It's not how this works. This is how this works. It's only cool if I do it.
I'll say this is all like, if I speak, I am in trouble. But also, there's some parts of this where it's like, when I get what you mean about like, you just kind of win out of nowhere. But I actually don't think it's that different than like, they happened to, in their top 17 cards, have 2 full ride lines and 2 sets of primogenitors and a hammer spark, and like it's if the color identity is draw versus the color identity is sect because I milled you, I think like maybe some decks should be allowed to bullshit you like that at an uninteractive level.
Oh no, like I do kind of get it. It's like it's the sort of probability versus it's a probability game here, but it's more like if you're like my thing is I'm fine with Gallantmon doing it. Because to be fair, at least they've tied it to the number of cards in trash. There's an actual like definitive reason to mill cards and gives you payoff for it. But sometimes just milling out my deck for sake of just milling me out. It's just like it there's no I think my thing is currently there's no way to like interact very well with those kinds of decks. You just kind of have to accept it. I mean, sure, you have, I guess now what Paladin mode is.
We'll also all get scrambled at some point, so you can probably bring back something that really matters if you need it.
I think the thing is, I'm happy with decks having different identities as long as there's like counterplay to most of those things as we go along. Like before, the trash was basically an uninteractable pile. Now we're getting more and more cards that either like put cards back, maybe do things like that. I think that's a better point of game design to like ensure most things have some level of counterplay is important.
I think if you put like like some bowling lane, like when you go to like a bowling alley and put the arms up so the ball doesn't go down the gutters. It's like Digimon historically has been a game about like I don't want to talk about like mediocre mid-range lol, but like decks that are like really efficient at just doing the 5 security checks and then going for game have historically been the best way to play the game. Alternate win cons very few and far between, and viable control strategies somewhat limited by what they could do because of the parameters by which Digimon TCG like it has existed this whole time. Like if you think of the best control deck year over year, it is pretty routinely set gone. And in an effort, it is what it is. I'm just saying. My point is like, exactly. It's like the further they go into the game's life, the more intentional they can be in regards to like design elements that facilitate that. So like a lot of recovery now is like effects that add cards to security now are way better than they used to be, but they tend to be either restricted by like high level Digimon have like an uncapped amount of recovery, so you need like Serafimon as opposed to Magna Angemon, or like when you have access, like you can take some cards out of trash or put cards straight to trash, or you can take cards into security and out of security. But like both of these things are now framed in a way where it's like within reason. You can't go to like 10 securities easily anymore. You can't use that to infinitely produce resources. Simultaneously, there are ways for you to punish an opponent who's just like filling their trash up on AFK brain mode. Like you play against the Demon Lord players that just like drop 3 analog youths on themselves, and you're like, okay, Paladin mode. So there's like they've given us points of interaction and framework by which to build future cards around. I can't help but feel like that we were just talking about Wizardmon, like the whole idea of like burning your security, protecting yourself is like this can exist now because most decks don't get past like 6 security. There's like an actual like maximum number of times you'd have to kill something before it goes down. It's like every deck is kind of getting like a light Pulsemon treatment, where it's like, Pulsemon stays at 3, but they get really good effects. Everyone stays at 6, though.
What if Gallant, they leaned into Sea Gallant instead of it being like, pop Megidramon?
They lean into Chaos Gallantmon. That deck is
I think if I think if you like lean into Chaos Gallant, you still want mill. We don't have anything that just like tries to force dead draws. I think Sea Gallant or Diaboromon X just being like, yeah, take some shit from your trash, put it on the top. Fuck you. Don't draw anything useful for the next 2 turns. Like, I think that would be really interesting.
I think wasn't it a Vadermon or like one of the line that
you stack their you look at their top.
Yeah,
I'll even take that because to be fair, again, like it's such an interesting way to interact with something because like to be fair, every Digimon player has lost or at least felt like hard done by like, yep, just there's my 4, there's the 6, 6, 6, 6. Just need a 5. Just need where's the piece?
Yeah. If I was gonna like fix Gallantmon, I think the cards that punish the opponent for not having bodies on board, I think they're not punishing enough because like if the whole point is that like
you'd always give Gallantmon the unsuspend or whatever.
Yeah, like it's like
matter.
It's very easy to track Gallantmon damage, so it's like if the Gallantmon just if there's nothing on board, the effects are not powerful enough for me to feel like I have to feed him something. So it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, bro, gain 2 memory. What are you going to do without 2 memory? Develop a Staccato?
Yeah,
sure.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I was going to fix Gallant, it would either be like, the point of the mill cards would be like, you would have a select handful of mill cards that the purpose is to take cards out of the opponent's trash to put them on the opponent's field. And that would be maybe more...
Very Leviamon. So, I feel like that's kind of a niche they've already done, though.
Yes, right? So, like, they use that on Leviamon.
I feel like what makes Leviamon annoying is the fact that you decide that arbitrarily I don't get my own plays right. If you had to, like... Granted, I know the way how trigger effects work in Digimon is kind of awkward, right? So, like, it's going to be a bit strange. But, like, the fact that you just basically get to go, you know what? Here you go, friend. Have this. When you play my ST Godobot from my trash, can I at least get some value out of you just, like, putting it there? Just slapping it there for your own benefit?
Yeah, God forbid you have downsides when you then go and play your Siakamon from trash, draw 5 and trash just 1 card.
I'd say I've seen something in chat that I want to address really quickly. We've talked about, again, like if you're not new to the Misplay for Guide, first of all, if we've got some people who are new, thanks very much for tuning in. Appreciate the heck out of you. You can catch us here on YouTube, on Twitch, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify and blah, blah, blah. Like everything, say hello. And be channel members and Twitch subscribers. Thanks. But also, if you aren't new and you've heard us have this Gallantmon conversation like 9 times now,
this is like once a month we fucking
it's and the crazy thing is it's never me bringing it up anymore. I actually think the new Gallantmon cards are pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think they're sick.
You cannot be aced. I think that is an awesome fucking thing that the deck gets is that you cannot be aced.
If I complain about anything anymore, it's practically a meme because it's like I waited like 4 years for piercing, so I'm like, I guess I finally got it. Like it's a joke.
But you got it. It's so shit.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it is. But it also feels like it was released out of order. Like I feel like I had like multiple conversations with people like, oh, it's pretty good. It's like, bro, it costs 4 to evolve. Like we're going backwards.
You have now.
Yeah, we have the Gallantmon we played for a very long time.
Yes, you have
I won't even
craziest rare I've ever read in my life, by the way.
That's a crazy... Oh, well, we'll come back to that.
No, okay.
But you know what I mean? Yeah. Gallantmon's finally hitting good. But like
your rare is better than every like super rare you've ever gotten.
I like to think that as far as like dudes who are semi-available on the internet to have talk conversations about this, it's like I have put my flag on the ground. I think most of the cards we get are actually pretty good. I would argue that Gallantmon gets a high volume of cards, and a lot of them are above average because law of large numbers. But the thing we have talked about that I feel like nobody ever wants to play with me in the space on is that part of what makes Gallantmon kind of not hit is that unlike when decks have gotten tools in the past, like I'll use Sakuyamon and Terriermon as examples here because they're kind of parallels to the deck in terms of like waves of support, kind of design philosophy, rebuild strength. When they got color splashes into other colors, they didn't double dip on their removal. Sakuyamon got bot deck, it got bounce, it got DP minus. Terriermon.
I can't bottom deck. I can bounce. Like I'll give you that.
Pardon me. It doesn't have blast evolving to paladin.
I mean, now you can also just turn off when you have Venusmon as well.
Yeah, pause plug it in too. Gallantmon got to dip into purple, which is cool because it went from a deck that only had 1 kind of deletion to a deck that has 2 kinds of deletion.
But it's the same deletion.
It's the same deletion. So one of the restricting factors to Gallantmon, and then it's
medieval suspends before it deletes.
Yes. So if Shoto Kazuma's medieval Gallantmon, as confirmed by the press information for EX8, has Vortex Blitz and has like a suspend effect, that might actually just do it, and people are going to wake up to the fact that Gallantmon's had good cards this whole time. It just could only play with you in red and purple ways. And if your deck didn't want to lose to red or purple, one of those is the worst color in Digimon, so you probably don't have too much trouble playing around red. Then I think you might be all right.
But like, what color would they give? Like, they can't give you blue because a red, blue, like Gallantmon.
Can I be honest with you?
What do you mean? Red, yellow Gallant should have been a thing. Going back.
No. Gallantmon should never.
No. Data ground.
Tom, hear me out.
It's blue. It should be blue.
Tom, hear me out. Right. Imagine the world where you got to do the mill thing, and then you got to go for every 5 cards in your opponent's trash. You can reduce them down by 2k, and then you make the DP threshold for your guys. It'll be so.
That would be kind of cool. You get to eat from the top and bottom to get your little shine pop offs to. I mean, because that's really cool seeing shine shrink something down into range and go, okay, pop a 2k, pop a 2k, pop a 2k, or how Sakuya spreads its DP minus. I think that would be instead of having all of your DP becoming a Crimson Blaze merchant, as Zero puts it from the Huang Zero challenge. Instead of just being a Crimson Blaze merchant, it would be very cool if you got to just change DP values so you could actually be a little bit more specific.
I'll actually accept changing DP values for Gallantmon would be sick, and I really wish they would do more cards that actually modify.
Polymorph.
Just set the DP value. Like Blastfire, my beloved, give me that as a better card, and I'm like, oh my god, Sakuyamon X, give me that Blastfire, it's gonna be great.
They better set that shit to 6k. I want you to still have to work for it.
Yeah, guys,
if they printed cards like what you guys are describing, they'd have to ban half the archetype.
No, I don't know.
There's no the thing with Gallantmon.
They're not gonna rework it.
They're not gonna rework it because fundamentally it does something already. Gallantmon has had when the format calls for it has multiple, but when the format calls.
No, I'm talking about Western win.
A current 2024 win. Yeah, Henny he shouts my goat. I need to hit him up on Discord again. The what's it called? Oh, part of what makes Digimon's a cool card game. It does a lot of stuff to tie in source material in interesting thematic ways. The thing about Gallantmon is the source material is really transparent on this. He just mercs stuff. That's its thing. It's the guys are all weird virus monsters that corrupt data or eat things or blow stuff up. There's not if you the kinds of the people for whom that appeals got exactly what they want out of Gallantmon cards. It's even cooler that it mills to me because then I get some ooh look Magidramon is radioactive and he's messing up our cards. It's cool. It's an interesting way to develop these things in the card game. But they should be really, really careful when they apply the logic of they give Terriermon black cards and now it's protected and has DD12. It's yeah, dude, if I had ways to interact with my opponent at points where they genuinely can't play back, it's the effects that they have been printing that I think Gallantmon could best steal are stuff like the I'll give you my this is some real pie in the sky broken stuff. But the things that they've been giving red this year that they haven't been giving to the main character red decks yet is essentially lingering kill small things. So they gave it to Volcanic Dramon in EX7, where you can't move 6k. They gave it to Dynamon, where it's things that are too small, can't play around. That's where red's gonna end up, because if they're testing it on stuff like this.
Dino Rexmon or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, Dino Rexmon is if your opponent's got more than one memory, they can't use 6k DP Digimon. There are parts of color identity where red is if red is supposed to be the thing that most is my guy destroys your guy, and not enough fight. If what they're about to do is they have to be really careful with whatever I think to a certain extent the Gallantmon Medieval is probably going to be more Shoto support than Takato support, and we will see because we haven't had it revealed in Liberator yet. We're going to see how things go, but Gallantmon's gimmick is it is pretty good at hitting you in a fight, but it's really good at popping stuff. And if they go from red and green are the colors of I kill you with effects and I kill you with muscle. And if they give them to the same deck and they give it Vortex and Blitz, it might not be very fun. We might need to think about what we're asking.
You don't need Blitz. You have Vortex.
Yeah, but there are ways to unsuspend, X anti-evolve, unsuspend, Blitz, unsuspend,
sure, whatever.
Vortex. There's lots of stuff.
Gallantmon would suspend.
Okay, but this is what I mean. Is they've given this deck a billion cards, so they need to think about what they give the deck next.
You guys want to talk about some deck lists? I feel like
I would like to, because I obviously always fun to entertain the Twitch chat when they're like, "Hey Tom, what do you think about Gallantmon?" And I can talk about my thesis essay every time. But yeah, the cards are bad. I know your friends at your locals are like, "Ha, Gallantmon reveals suck," but they don't. It's just like it'll get there. That's how it goes.